Hello beautiful people of the internet! At the beginning of the year, when I made like my channel goals video and when I told you what I was going to do with this channel this year, I told you that on Monday I was going to upload a cover or something else music related. I didn't feel like singing a cover for you today, and I didn't feel like uploading an original song. I just didn't feel like playing music at all. So I thought I'd do something different that is still music related, and I thought I'd just give you a tour through my music collection. I don't have too many CDs, but I do have a reasonable amount to go through, and I don't know, lately I've been really enjoying people who show their music collection on YouTube, and since I have quite a fair share of my own music in here, I thought I'd just share it with you because maybe you'd be interested in it as well. I don't know, it just felt like something I really wanted to do this week, so that's what I'm gonna do. This right here is the box, like the suitcase, whatever you want to call it, with all of my music in it. I once got this case from someone and I thought it looked pretty cool, so that's why I decided to keep my music in it. So this is what the inside of the case looks like, and I am just going to give you a tour of my albums that I have collected over the years. The albums that I have here are on alphabetical order, so it's not like I'm going to show you what I bought first and then end with what I bought last. I just put them on alphabetical order, so I'm just gonna start from A to Z, or V in this case. The first one being The Best Damn Thing by Avril Lavigne. I was a huge fan of Avril Lavigne, and honestly I still am. I got this one for my birthday, I think, but I'm not sure. I may have to say that this is actually a limited edition, which means that you could like open this part. Wow, magic! And there would be an extra CD in there with bonus content. You'd have a few bonus tracks, a few music videos, and then you would also have like behind the scenes of when they recorded 2 of the songs. I've always really loved this album, and I still do, honestly. And yeah. That's this one, I suppose. Next up I have the Black Eyed Peas with Monkey Business. I went through a huge hip-hop phase when I was about 12 years old or something. Hip-hop, R&B, I loved all that. And the Black Eyed Peas were actually my favorite band at the time. So I have Monkey Business here, which is probably still my favorite Black Eyed Peas album till this day. So yeah, this album is part of my collection, and I'm still very happy that it's part of it, actually. I like this album. Then next up I have 4 CDs that I'm going to show you all at once because they're all from the same band. They're from Green Day. I went through a huge Green Day phase when I was younger. I actually think that this album, like American Idiot, was the first CD that I actually bought with my own money, and I was so proud of that because it's still one of my favorites up until now. Come on, man, everyone needs to have American Idiot in their collection. Like, your collection is not complete if you don't have this CD, to be honest. Green Day for me kind of made the transition to the alternative scene, if you will. And I loved Green Day. So I have Dookie, which I really wanted to have because Basket Case was on there. Then I have American Idiot, which is like the classic album. Then I also have Bullet in the Bible, which was the live CD for American Idiot / DVD. And I got this for my birthday as well because everyone in my family knew how obsessed I was with Green Day at the time, that everyone just gifted me Green Day CDs. And lastly, I also have the 21st Century Breakdown, which is again a CD that I really love. I kind of stopped listening to Green Day for a while after this CD, and I actually never really picked it up anymore, but I do listen to these 4 CDs on a regular basis. I still have all 4 of them on my iPod as well. I just love Green Day, so they just needed to be in my collection. Then next up I have Jasper Erkens, which is a Belgian artist. This is a guy that actually participated in a contest that's called the Rock Rally, and he won this, which meant that he could like make his own album. This guy was 16 at the time that he made his music. He was like a year older than I was at the time. This guy right here was my very first celebrity crush. Like, oh my goodness, I was in love with that guy and I didn't even know him. The style of this music is actually, how can I say it? It's rock. He played the guitar, so it was always like very calm and very, I don't know how to describe it. It was just calm, I suppose, but it was class under rock, and I really liked this. I actually went to one of his concerts. I got tickets for my mom for my 16th birthday, and I got my CD signed, which at the time was such a big deal because, like I said, I was in love with this guy and I didn't even know him. I'm probably gonna say that about all of the CDs that I have, but I mean it, this is definitely one of my favorites. And next up we have Justin Timberlake with Future Sex / Love Sounds. I don't really have a specific explanation as to why this is part of my music collection, but I do have to say that I really like the album. I still do, even though this is absolutely completely not my style of music, but it has like Justin Timberlake's best songs on it, so I don't really know. I just have it and I love it. And then next up we have Melee with the album Devils and Angels. This is an album that I really wanted to have because I loved the sound of Melee. This is an album from 2007 and they just brought out a single called Built to Last. I loved that song. I was in love with that song and I just wanted to know more about the band, and because I wasn't too good with the internet at the time, I just did the best that I could do and I bought the album. And I don't regret it because it's still a great album. Can't say that I heard more of the band after that, so I don't really know how it is with the band actually. And if you've never heard of Melee, just for comparison, their music sounds a lot like Keen's music, so if you like Keen with the piano and the rock sounds, then you will love this as well. But yeah, this is Melee and it's part of my collection. And then next up we have Mika with Life in Cartoon Motion, which is the first album that Mika brought out, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong on that one. I really liked Mika. He did such special things with his voice, like it was not something I've ever heard before, and he had major hits with like Grace Kelly, Relax, Take It Easy, Big Girls, You're Beautiful. It were all songs that I really liked, so I was like, if I like all of these songs, I must love the album as well. So I bought it and I like it. I'm not gonna say that this is my favorite album that I have, but I'm definitely happy that it's part of my collection. And then next up, again, I have a group of 5 CDs that I'm gonna pull out all at once because we've now come to the Paramore CDs. These are my precious babies. Oh my god, I love them so much. You may or may not know this about me, but Paramore is my favorite band of all time. Like, there's no band that could ever replace the love that I feel for Paramore. So as a fan and as someone who loves their music, I just need to have the albums. I'm not gonna say that I'm a collector, so I don't have the singles and the little albums that came out in between shows and stuff, but I do have the main ones and I am very proud to have them. This is like the only band where I actually collect the albums. I need to have physical copies of the albums just in case the internet one day explodes, I can still listen to them. Not that that's ever going to happen, but hey. But yeah, CDs, I'm drifting off here. These ones are not in alphabetical order. I put this one in order of publishing, appearance, whatever you want to call it. So we're starting with All We Know Is Falling, which is an album from 2005. And then we have Riot, which is actually the first Paramore album that I ever got. I got this as a Christmas present because I was in love with Paramore at the time. And from that album on, I was just sold and I just bought everything. You can also see that this is like the one that has been through the most. I don't know if you can see, but there's like cracks in the cover and in the back as well. This is the CD that I have been taking with me everywhere because I just loved it so much, and this is probably still my favorite CD that I have in the whole of my CD collection. So that's that. Next up I have the final Riot, which is the live CD of the tour of the Riot album. This is a live CD slash DVD, and it's again one of the most precious possessions that I have. And then the next one that I have is Brand New Eyes, which is a CD from 2009. This came out around my birthday, like I think a few days before, and I put it on the list to get this for my birthday, and then I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy it myself because I need to know the songs that are on here. I need to listen to the album. So yeah, I bought this about 3 days after it came out, I think, because I just couldn't wait a week later until it was my birthday or something. And then lastly we have the self-titled album, which is the most recent one that they released in 2013. This one is the last one that I have in the collection of my Paramore albums, and I can't wait to buy the new album that they are recording right now. So yeah, this is my Paramore collection, and this is probably my favorite part in my music collection. Next up we have Parkway Drive with Deep Blue, and as you can see on the cover, it is a signed one, which is also very cool. This was actually one of these CDs that I randomly bought. I was shopping with a friend of mine at the time. When I was shopping, I just saw that the CD was like €6 or something, which was not a lot for CDs at the time. So I just bought it because I thought, wow, this is only €6, which is good that I bought it because a few months later they did a signing in the Vans store in Antwerp, and I actually got to meet the band and they got to sign my CD. I don't know, this still has like a special value to me just because it's signed, even though I don't really listen to the band anymore. I met the band, they were really lovely, and I don't know, it's just a nice thing to have. Then next up I have Funhouse by Pink, which I actually don't really know what it does in my collection because I've never really been a massive Pink fan. I think this is a CD that I once got gifted by someone. I like Pink as a person, but I'm not too massive a fan of her music. So this is one of these CDs that I have and that I did listen to a few times, but that doesn't really have any further meaning to me. I don't know what else I can say about this. Next up we have another little precious CD, which is the Paris CD White Noise. I went to see them live on my birthday of this year, which is like 4 months ago, for the very first time. This is still one of the best concerts I've ever went to in my entire life, and this is still one of my favorite albums up until now. Most of you may already have heard me talk about this because I'm a tiny little bit obsessed with Paris, but I love this album. This album has a really special meaning to me because I used to listen to it a lot when I was feeling very down, and then just getting to meet them and then just having them sign the album just was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. If you want to know the whole story about how I met the band and everything, I will link you to a video on my second channel where you can listen to the story if you want to. This is definitely one of the highlights in my collection, and I love this CD to pieces. Then next up I have Still Not Getting Any by Simple Plan. All of my fellow emo kids will remember this. This is one of the albums that changed my life, if you will. I have played it on repeat over and over and over and over again when I was going through high school and my emotional troubles and like problems with myself. That was like my emo time, if you will. This was my emo time, okay? I don't know, this album still means a lot to me just because they could say the things that I couldn't. I didn't really think anything of it when I bought it, but it ended up being such a huge support to me when I actually got it. I still really like this album, I still do, and all of my fellow emo kids will like understand what I'm talking about. And then next up I have the songs from the album Step Up to the Streets. I don't really know how to explain this one. I've always been a dancer, I've always been into dance and everything like that, and Step Up just blew me away. So I ended up buying the album because I was so impressed by the movie, and watching that movie made me want to dance again, so I bought this because I thought that this would get me back into dancing. I did listen to this like 100 times that summer, but it didn't get me back into dancing. And that's actually the story of this album. Then next up I have Stone Sour by Stone Sour. I like the band, I still do, but it's never been my favorite band or a band that I really listen to very frequently. I was talking with some random people and then it suddenly came onto music and I just told them like, yeah, there's this song of Stone Sour that I really like. And then this guy was just like, oh my god, you know Stone Sour, you like them, we have to be friends. And that's actually how our friendship started. And on my 16th birthday I had a party, like a sweet 16 party. It was not really that much, but it was a party, and I remember inviting him and he came all the way from around Antwerp, and this is a CD that he got me because this was his favorite CD of Stone Sour, and he got me this CD because, you know, Stone Sour is kind of the thing that got us together, and this CD has a special place in my heart. This guy meant so much to me and it still hurts that we don't talk anymore, so that's why I just can't throw it away. And that's the story of this album, I suppose. From all of the albums that I have in here, I think that the emotional value is the highest with this one. Then next up I have This Is War by 30 Seconds to Mars. To be honest, I never actually been a real big fan of them. I loved Kings and Queens and This Is War, and they also had another song called The Kill, which I was obsessed over. So I thought, if these songs are so good, this album must be great. And I bought the album and I didn't like it. I did listen to this quite a few times, and although I wasn't too fond of the album, I still like 30 Seconds to Mars as a band. That's this, I suppose. Nothing else I can really say about this album. This next album, I'm not sure if I want to talk to you about. You know what? Fuck it. It's Scream by Tokyo Hotel. I was a huge Tokyo Hotel fan at the time, okay? I was obsessed with the band and I was like, nothing I've ever heard like before. These people sung about depression and about sad things and about heartbreaking, and I was a sad teenager going through a lot and I loved every single song on the album. And to be honest, I still do, okay? So judge me all you want, hate me all you want, I don't fucking care. I freaking love this album. At the time that this came out, this band was like the biggest hype of the moment. It was like the One Direction of emo music. And I was just obsessed with the band. I had albums, I had a mug with their face on, I even had a pillow with their face on. I bought magazines and I used to cut out every single picture and article that I found about them and then put them into like this big binder. I was like this obsessed teenager. You wouldn't even believe me. I was obsessed with Tokyo Hotel. Like I said, I was a very sad teenager. I was depressed. I had so many things going on. And this was one of these albums that got me through it. And the thing is that even though it was a phase and I'm out of it, I still really love this album. Not only because it has a lot of emotional meaning to me, but also because I just really like the sound of it. Judge me all you want. Again, I don't care. Yeah, this album still has a really special place in my heart. And then lastly, but by no means least, I have Fixed at Zero by VersyMerch. If I were to ever put together a top 10 of my favorite albums of all time, this album will certainly be in there. The reason this band impressed me is because next to Paramore, I had never heard another band, like rock band, that I really liked with a very strong female voice. And this band also played experimental rock music, which was also a genre that I've never heard before. This band was like opening a whole new world to me and I loved it. I went through a huge VersyMerch phase, and because I loved the album so much, I asked it for my Christmas because I felt like this is an album that I needed to have in my collection, and that's why I have it right now. And the thing is that this is their debut album and I loved everything that this band was, and then when they started evolving and creating more music, I just didn't like the music anymore, so I just stopped listening to the band, which is really sad because I really like this. So if you ever get the chance, I really recommend you check this one out because it's perfect, it's amazing. And with that, we reach the end of my music box collection. Of course, I listen to much more music than this, and of course, I have a lot more albums that I really love, but these are just the albums of which I really have a physical copy. As you can see, I also have more stuff here and there. I'm not gonna talk about that right now because my video is already way too long. I've been filming for 46 minutes right now, which is insane. It's gonna be a hell to edit. So I'm not gonna talk about that right now because it's just a bunch of random crap basically. But if you are interested in that, I will try to put up a video on my second channel going through the rest of the things that I have in my music box. Then you can check that out if you'd like to, and you can just, you know, be a nosy and curious person. But yeah, even though this may not be the most interesting music collection video you've ever seen, I do hope you enjoyed it. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye!